For those who are newer to the group or newer to me, let me actually introduce myself. I am Shannon. So nice to meet you. I am the curator of this fine little group here. Um, this has sparked out of several things, but mostly just my desire to create community as part of my own wellness and healing journey. I'm a health coach, I'm an energy healer, I'm a mentor, I'm a coach, I do all sorts of things um, to help people with their bodies, with their health, with their lives to improve kind of all areas so we can get more flow, but particularly focusing on, our health and our body. Um, I do this because of my own journey with health, and I've always kind of been like athletic and active, but that kind of stopped around the 2010 time frame. Yeah, 2010, 2011 time frame, when my body started doing some interesting things. Come to find out, I ended up with an autoimmune diagnosis in 2012 and stumbled upon energy work as I was kind of trying to unwind what was going on with understand and unwind what was going on with my body. So through energy work, I was introduced to Reiki in 2016, started like the full Reiki training in 2017, and haven't looked back since. So in that process, I've gotten the strength and unwound the layers and released the things and cleared the things and, gotten so much more clear in how my body functions, and how all of our bodies function, and the ins and outs of like how some of this stuff starts and why we have it in the first place, and ultimately how to release it so we can get flow or whatever we're looking for in our lives. Hey Heidi, thank you for joining. So my journey has kind of sparked all of this, but it is all meant to be. In 2010 and 2012, I never would have said I'm grateful for this diagnosis, but I absolutely am, because it and all the things that I've done as a result of it have completely turned my life upside down, and that was absolutely what was needed. I've always, like I said, been active, had a love for the body, got a university degree in kinesiology, health coach, personal trainer, fitness instructor, like all of that, like it all just flows. And then the energy work kind of came, and I was like, whoa, this whole new world out here. So yeah, I mean, Reiki and quantum healing and hypnosis and access bars, like everything, like all of it has helped me see a new perspective, see a new layer, and apply that to my own life so I can help anyone who wants to kind of get that balance, that clarity, release the layers, and really get that, the thriving that we're looking for in our lives and with our bodies. So that's like that is what I am about. So yeah, I don't think I've said that in a while, but yeah, that's why I'm here with this group. That's why this group exists, for community, for resources, for us to lean on each other, support each other in this journey. So Christy, hey, how are you? Thank you for joining. So yeah, so that's kind of the background. Wanted to say that. And I think now we're ready to go. I'm ready to go. I think I'm ready to go. So I wanted to talk about alignment now. So we're on, the 12th of June, or excuse me, January. We're in the 12th of January. We've had like the whole New Year's resolution, new you, new year, the weight loss and the programs and the this and the that. Like we've had all these, the commercials and the foods and all these things pop up, per usual. Like this, it's the annual cycle of I'm going to start anew. I'm going to, lose the weight. I'm going to quit the job. I'm going to have the better relationship. Like all these things that we're going to do. And actually, January 12th or around the 12th or 13th is when the resolutions officially fall off. And there are several reasons for that. We're not going to get into that, but I purposefully did not do like a whole new year, new you, get on the coaching bandwagon, get on the weight loss bandwagon. I purposefully did not do that because that energy just doesn't feel right for me. We did a poll in the group a couple months ago about are you doing resolutions? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? Like what are you thinking? And several people were like, that doesn't feel good. I want to be able to do what feels good and do these changes in a manner that feels comfortable. It doesn't feel forced. And if I want to make a change, I want to make a change. I don't want to have to wait for the first of anything or, the rest of society to give me permission to, start thinking about change. Like if I want to change, we're going to do it when it feels right for me and when it is aligned, when that decision is aligned with where I am in my life. So my thought is no resolutions, no new year, new you. Like I'm not subscribing to that. I used to, but it never was successful. And when I was thinking more about this, the resolutions and the weight loss and the new relationships and the whatever people are looking for, what I realized is it came down to people are actually looking to feel certain things. And as a society, we've been programmed to think that, okay, well, the first of the year is coming, so therefore this is when I'm supposed to be feeling or striving to achieve these certain things. What I think we're all really looking for is alignment. I think we're all really looking for alignment, and we're looking for flow. And we're looking for ways to be and feel empowered in how to do that in our lives. And particularly with our bodies, so we can do those things, do more of those things in our lives. So that's where this kind of the timing for this comes in. It's kind of new year, new you, but not on that kind of energy stream. It's more coming behind it and saying all of us are really, really ultimately striving to achieve alignment and flow in our lives, alignment with our bodies, even if we don't know that, even if we don't realize that. So what is it going to take for that to happen? How do we get there? And that's where this starts. So I'm an Abraham Hicks fan. I started following Abraham Hicks maybe 2006, 2004. And their basis is kind of law of attraction. And we want to feel aligned in our lives and our bodies. And a lot of their teachings are basically on kind of universal law, universal principles, but foundationally are around the law of attraction. And through listening to them, I learned about different mindsets, different perspectives. Like they really helped me push out of my comfort zone when it came to having a fixed mindset on how my life would work and how the world works in general. And one of the things that they always say is everything is always working out for you. It took me maybe 100 times to hear this, to let it sink in, but it never actually sunk in because I was looking for something tangible to be like, okay, everything is working out for me and here's my proof. Here's this 1 or 2 or 5 things that I can specifically look to see that these things are working out for me, that like this phrase or the statement is true. I struggled for years with this concept that I could be unhealthy or unhappy or, stressed or sad or, whatever. And things were working out for me. So I received this diagnosis in 2012, and basically the doctor was like, this is it. This is your new reality for the rest of your life. And in the back of my head, I was like, yeah, okay, but no, that's not my reality for the rest of my life. Like, I'll take your words, I'll, do what I need to do to feel better, because ultimately that was the goal. But I don't accept that as my reality until I die. So, mind you, I'm listening to Abraham Hicks and this whole everything is working out for you mantra. But I couldn't put the two together. Like, I had received this diagnosis where the doctors were saying your body's attacking you and your body's doing these certain things, and we can't explain why, but you just need to do this thing or do these couple of things and think, you'll figure it out. You'll figure out how to create that new reality and make things better for you. So that one, it didn't feel good. It felt horrible. And it did not feel like things were working out for me at all. Like, nothing felt like it was working out for me. And it actually felt like my world was flipped upside down and everything was against me. And all I could do was follow the orders. So I lived like this for years. And then 2017 hit. So, as I mentioned, I got into kind of the energy healing world. Reiki, opened some things up for me, opened some possibilities up. And I started surrounding myself with different people, and I started finding different resources. I started finding podcasts and interviews and, online summits. And in one of these online summits, I was listening to someone speak, and they asked a question that, I use still today, just like I use this Abraham Hicks, phrase. But this question stopped me in my tracks. And the question was, did you know that your body wants to support you? That your body supports you all day, every day, without you having to ask. It just does it. And I thought, well, really? My body wants to support me. So I have this diagnosis, I'm taking these pills, I feel not great, but my body wants to support me. How does that work? But it was the question that opened the door. This wasn't the first time that a question had opened the door. Actually, no, this was the first question. This was the first time. There are two separate instances in this journey for me. So this is in 2017, and then in 2018, another question was posed to me, where, again, change completely out of my sphere, and made me think, but then got me into action. So, did you know that your body wants to support you? So I was listening to this man speak about self-love and how that creates optimal health. And at this point, I was not on a self-love journey. Like, self-love was furthest from my focus. I wanted answers, I wanted to understand, and I wanted my reality to change, period. Like, that's all I wanted. So if you could give me answers, then I would listen to you in a way that I thought was important, not, some fluffy stuff. Like, give me answers, give me information, and I will apply it, and I'll get my results. That's how I was operating. But this perspective about the body supporting you regardless, like, we wake up every day, we're breathing, sometimes we're in pain, sometimes we're not, but our muscles are working, we can see if, eyesight isn't an issue. We can walk to the bathroom, we can brush our teeth, we can do basic things, most of us. And we take that for granted. We don't realize that our bodies are supporting us. Like, we don't have to say, okay, body turn on, and then the eyes turn on, and the lungs start to go and the blood starts to pump and the heart, like, we don't have to do that. Like, it just happens automatically. And that's beautiful. It just happens automatically. But I know I took this for granted. And I mean, that's part of the reason why I think I experienced what I did, and continue to today, because the awareness that I believe most of us lack in what our bodies are doing. Like, our bodies are amazing, fantastical machines, and they're complex, and all they know to do is support us. And I think in our society, we grow up with judgment. So the idea of judging self, judging others, judging our environments, comparing ourselves, our bodies, our lives, our beliefs, our whatever, so that kind of judgment and comparison, that kind of gets us into trouble, in particular when it comes to our bodies. So, I mean, we think about body image, and we think about, models in the fashion industry and beauty, and, what does beauty mean? And like all these things where an ideal is perpetuated among the masses. And then we have to choose, if we have the, know-how, willpower, to say, no, that's not my reality, or no, I choose to think or look or act differently than, this cultural norm or something that might be perpetuated. So I realized that judgment is something that is inherent, and that was inherent for me. Like, judgment of self, I could rip myself apart, head to toe, top to bottom, inside and out, if you gave me, 15 minutes. I find all the flaws, no problem. And, all the flaws, all the things that were wrong, all the things that I wanted, all the reasons why my body was failing me, like, and I'm sure most of us can do that, because we're programmed to judge, we're programmed to see the bad instead of the good. And I operated like that for a lot longer than I admit. Decades, I'll just say decades. But it's common. And since I know it's common, I can now say, okay, you know what? It's programming. It's just, it's how we're raised, it's how society is, it's how the environment is. It's no fault of our own, we're just a product of our environment. But when we get more information to maybe counter those types of thoughts or belief systems, then we can do better, we can shift. So, I realized that I was led to believe that everything was happening to me, and everything, like all these forces, were against me. So we know when we're sick, when we receive a diagnosis, when we're injured, we think, what did I do to deserve this? What is wrong with me, or what did I do wrong, basically? And then judging the body for failing us, instead of saying, okay, my body is responding to something in the environment or a trigger that I have introduced or someone has introduced. How do we figure out what and why and how, and then unwind? So we're kind of going to get to the point where we can do that unwinding. But I want to kind of explain like my lensing on this, because it took a couple of years, if not 3 years, to get here. Actually, no, I'm still not here. I'm still not there. I still judge my body. I'm guilty. I'll raise my hand here. I still judge my body. When I can't figure things out, I'm like, why can't I figure this out? Body, why are you doing this? But I realize that I have a say in it. I have a say in it, that if my body really does want to support me, then it's just responding to something I'm doing or what's in my environment that the environment is contributing to. So, anyway. So if we're looking to change our reality, but we don't know how to get it, that mindset shift is key for that first step. Knowing that there is another perspective and then acknowledging that that actually could be something to explore. That's what happens with the really good questions. They stop you in your track and you say, I hadn't considered that. Okay, now let me go explore that. Let me play with that. And then you start to get keys. People start to come into your awareness. Resources start to, like, ideas start to come, things like that. So what I needed, because I knew desperately that I wanted this reality change, I needed that question. I needed that something to snap me out of my current way of thinking, and that's what happened for me with that question. So it's the trigger and then exploration of, okay, well, if something else is possible, how do I apply this to myself? And I realize I'm saying alignment, but let me actually explain what I mean by alignment. So, and I can give several examples of this, not specific to the body, but like just life in general. So, you know how when an athlete describes being in the zone, like they're focused, they have trained, they are in flow, their body feels good, mentally they feel sharp, they feel focused, they feel like they are unstoppable. They feel like they know exactly what to do, when to do it, how much to do it, when to stop. Like they're just, all cylinders are firing. That is an example of alignment. Abraham Hicks also says that feeling of being tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Like all cylinders go, everything's flowing, no, just completely unstoppable. They also say in the vortex. So being in the vortex, in that happy place. So when you're on the beach, or in the mountains, smelling the fresh, clean air, looking at the trees, looking at maybe water, or I was having this conversation the other day about like really being in that happy, joyful place. One of those areas for me is actually being in the African bush. So being like with the lions and the elephants and the antelope, and like just being in that clean air and just openness. So like that feeling of peace and just knowing and trusting that everything's okay and just no worries. I also have I've got like three happy places. And one of them actually used to be on the dance floor. So, I'm a former hip hop dancer. I don't think most people know that. Former hip hop dancer, and love to dance, love music, like love everything about it. And most dancers will tell you they know that they're in alignment when they're performing. They know that when they feel the music, they just go with the beat, their body does what it needs to do, and you flow, and you lose yourself. I used to get that, not necessarily when I was performing, but give me my favorite DJ and a couple of friends and an open dance floor, and I'm good for hours, like just good for hours. But it's that feeling of not caring if anybody's watching. It's that feeling of confidence. It's the feeling of flow and peace and just exuberance, like joy. You know that you know that you know. That's what I mean when I'm talking about alignment. So that tuned in, tapped in, turned on, happy place, unstoppable, can't touch me, confident yet peaceful and calm, like everything's flowing, everything's working. And we've all had that. We've all had at least one or two glimpses of that, if not multiple, over our lifetimes. So I don't want to hear anybody saying, "Well, I don't know what that feels like," because we've all had at least one. I think we've all had at least one that we can rely on. But that's what I mean when I'm saying alignment. With our bodies, it can be the same. It can also be a little bit different. But I'm coming from the perspective that it is the same, where we know what our bodies want, we know what our bodies need, when something doesn't feel right, we know the questions to ask, we know the help to ask for, or we know the resource to go towards. We make clearer decisions about what our body wants. We make more clear decisions about how to support our bodies so our bodies can then support us. We are not in that space of judgment. We're in that space of compassion and understanding for what our bodies are doing. Judgment is not anywhere in the picture when we're in that aligned space. It's more love, compassion, understanding rather than kind of the judgment or the fear or, if you're thinking on like a vibrational spectrum, like megahertz, it's doesn't include those lower megahertz. It includes the higher kind of gratitude, love, understanding, compassion, emotions. So now that we've got that covered, how do we get in alignment? It's a simple question. First, we have to know that it's possible. So that mindset is really, really, really key. Like if we're operating off of this is my kind of narrow reality and there's nothing else possible, we're not going to see that just outside of those blinders is that alignment, or is the start of, the alignment or the connections that we're looking for to then get that sustained aligned state that we're looking to achieve. So we have to know it's possible. So having that question, or scrolling and seeing a picture, or having an idea pop in your head, like there's some sort of prompt or trigger that says something else is possible. And I know we've all had that thought of something's got to give. Like something has got to give. I know life has got to be better than this. Like that thought that's when the trigger is helpful. Something's got to be bigger or better than this. I deserve better. I want to feel better. Okay, here's this question. So we have to understand that it's possible. First and foremost, it just, even if it's entertaining, just an inkling. Once that door is open, floodgates can start to open. So then we start a conversation. Once we've expanded our mindset, we've accepted that there is something different possible for our reality. We then start a conversation. And for me, this is like literal conversation. I'm someone who talks to myself like all the time. I'm an only child, so I talk to myself. I talk to my imaginary friends when I was little. I had no problem talking to myself at home, in the store. I actually got caught in the store once talking to myself, like trying to figure out if I was going to buy something. And the guy was like, do you need help? Are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm good. Just trying to figure something out. Just trying to debate which jacket. So for me, this actually made sense because I could like verbalize what I was thinking and, talk to my body. And one thing that you'll notice with me is I actually do talk to my body as if it's a separate entity. So I know I'm, one in the same, like my body. I'm here in this body in this meat suit. Like I'm here talking to you. But I do kind of talk to my body as if it's kind of separate consciousness and separate and apart because I'm acknowledging that it has a voice. So I want to be able to give my body a voice. And if my body wants to support me and I want to have a conversation and like open those lines of communication, then I have to acknowledge that I will receive a response and that I will trust it, treat it, like a friend. Ultimately, I'm creating that friendship. I'm creating a partnership with my body, and I don't think a lot of us know to do that because we're in that zone of judgment. If we're in that zone of judgment, we can't have that relationship. We can't have the understanding and the flow and receive the information that we're looking for to improve ourselves and improve our bodies. So that for me was big, was using the fact that I talk to myself all the time to kind of cultivate that relationship and know that I can say, thank you, body, for supporting me. Even if I can't see it, even if I don't believe it in the moment, I know that I got up, I know that, I ate and I can see and I'm breathing and my muscles are mostly working. Like I can see all of those things, I can feel all of those things, and I can say, okay, thank you, body. Thank you for doing whatever you're doing. Thank you. And I know I don't always understand, but thank you. Period. That for me has been key. Those three words. Thank you, body. And I don't always understand. I do not always understand. But I still say thank you because I know my body is working and I know it's responding to what is going on around it. Whether it's the food that I'm putting in, whether it's, the essential oils that I'm diffusing, whether it is, the cold air or warm air or whatever. I know that my body is responding, and I've gotten to a place where I can at minimum just say thank you. So, knowing that it's possible, starting the conversation, so with that new perspective, and even if it's just as simple as saying thank you, that's enough. Because that is acknowledging that you are supported, even if you don't understand it. And when I say thank you, I actually do expect my body to respond. So, as we're talking to a friend, we have a conversation with a friend. Hey friend, how are you doing? Your friend responds, I'm good, or I'm, frustrated, or I'm whatever. Okay, well, do you need to talk? Do you need anything? It's literally that basic, but it's treating almost like a back and forth that you would have with, a friend who's sitting here talking to you and having a conversation. And coming from that place of gratitude is key. Is actually really key. So I was talking about judgment and talking about kind of that programming that we grow up with in society, maybe in our specific household, but definitely perpetuated in society. Excuse me. That's subconscious programming. So our subconscious is wired at the earliest of ages with whatever is in our environment. So if we're operating from, judging our thighs, judging the roll in our stomach, judging, the muscle composition of our arms or something, if we're constantly in an environment where that is important and it is called out. So I know with I mean, with dance, that's just, you got to look a certain way, you got to move a certain way, you have to audition the pieces that you're in, and if you don't have the look, if you're not performing the choreography the right way, if the costume doesn't look correct on you, if everything doesn't blend when it's supposed to blend, like all the dancers looking a certain way, if everyone is moving to the music a certain way, the way that it's intended to look, then it's a problem. And you can internalize, is my body wrong? Did I do something wrong? Because I'm not fitting in with the group. And I definitely went through that. Like, oh, I'm not turning like them, so something must be wrong. Or, oh, the pants don't fit the same way, or I have to wear different pants, so something must be wrong with me. Middle school, when we're going through puberty, like all these things, we make our bodies wrong because something grows or something doesn't grow, or whatever happens with our hormones. We're not going to get into that. But things happen. People look a little different, grow at different paces, and then we make ourselves wrong for it. So that's when the judgment comes in. And then the self-talk that comes as a result of that gets programmed as beliefs. It gets programmed as thoughts and patterns of behavior that we then embody and operate off of in our adult lives. So when we're trying to unwind these things as an adult, we're trying to understand the diagnosis. We're trying to understand why we feel stuck. We're trying to understand why something isn't quite working out despite trying all the programs or all of the suggestions. We don't quite understand that the mindset and the language and the self-talk is first and foremost what needs to be acknowledged and shifted. So that the mindset, again, if we're in a fixed mindset, we don't know something else exists. And when that mindset doesn't shift, the body is not going to shift because the body doesn't know something else is possible. So the subconscious reprogramming, those limited beliefs, the language, the self-talk, all those things factor into this so much. I know for me, self-love, self-worth was a huge battle. Huge battle, huge journey. I don't really know what to say. It was a mess. It was a mess. And I had the environment. I had the supportive environment of, you're smart, you're talented, you're beautiful, you're strong, you're this, you're that, you're so, all the positives. I had that. But I didn't believe it for myself. And I had several like energetic things and several things that I just needed to learn and see for myself. We're all in our own individual journeys, and we have lessons that we need to learn to overcome. So I had that. But that self-love and self-worth, I couldn't see that I was lovable. I couldn't see that my body wasn't doing bad things. I couldn't see that the way certain things looked wasn't wrong because someone else looked more desirable than I thought I should. I couldn't see that. So I separated myself. I separated because I didn't think what I had was enough. I didn't think what I offered fit into what was right or what was pretty or what was enough. So there's no way I can have alignment with my body if I'm constantly shutting down and making wrong and saying all these negative, nasty things about my body and conducting my life as such, and then shutting down when someone says something that's positive. I mean, as women, we can be self-deprecating. Self-love, self-worth journey is, never ending. And it's just a shame because we create so much disconnection in our own selves and with others, in our ability to have the thriving life, the thriving health, the connection, the loving, reciprocating relationships that we, I believe, all crave and want. we create that disconnection and that I don't know why the word dissent is coming up, but dissent in ourselves, with ourselves, and it contributes to the possibilities that we're able to hold for ourselves and our health and our bodies. And that connection does not happen. It doesn't come. And I definitely had to learn that the hard way. So that the self-love, self-worth isn't automatic once you realize that you're, like, you hear that question, do you know that your body wants to support you? That's the trigger. But with that trigger comes the work of, okay, do I believe this? How can I believe this? And we'll talk about kind of some things to unwind, like journal prompts and stuff. But I didn't realize how big that self-worth, self-love topic was, in unwinding kind of this body alignment journey. So for me, that was huge, and I would imagine that kind of any of us would have even a sliver of that self-love, self-worth going on. But that subconscious, we have to understand how the subconscious works. Like, the programming is there from an early age. So if your parents or, grandparents or whoever you grew up with, or your school, your community, whoever you looked up to, and who was an authoritative figure, how did they talk to themselves? How did they talk to you? How did everyone around you help you formulate those beliefs about your body and what was possible for your body and your health? That is key to understanding the patterns, the thoughts, the beliefs that you're operating with today, possibly, and even maybe some past life stuff in there too, so maybe some Akashic influence. But understanding that there are other factors here, so that subconscious is key. So the mindset, we know something else is possible, we've got mindset. When you're considering different perspectives, new ideas come, people come, resources come, shift can happen. Okay, so I've been talking about acknowledging that there are different perspectives. Like, for me, that was so important because I knew what I knew. I knew what the doctor said. I knew what my friends said. I knew what my parents said. I knew within my sphere, but I wasn't aware of other perspectives. Like, I wasn't introduced to the concept of healing the body from anything until 2016, 2017. I was an athlete. I knew sports medicine. I knew injuries. I was injured. I knew injuries well. I knew that the body was cool. I knew I loved health and fitness. But I didn't know that the body was so much more, like this whole healing and reversing things and thriving and using food as medicine and using nutrients and so many things to balance the body, get the body in balance, support the body. I didn't know anything about that. So when I was operating within my sphere. Most of us are, until we're not. So how do we get this thing called alignment, or this flow that we're looking for? Acknowledging that there's different ways to think and operate. That's always going to be my number one. Like, we have to be exposed to new and different things to just know that there's another possibility. When we're in the mindset of, there's got to be another way, there's got to be a different way, I'm tired of feeling like this, I don't want to feel like this anymore, we're acknowledging that there is something else. We don't have to feel like this. My second thing is getting clear on how we actually do want to feel, and then find proof. So one really important thing for me was I had to find proof that I actually felt better. Like there was a point in time in my life where all cylinders were firing, whether they were or not. I believed all cylinders to be firing. So I knew that there was a before. I knew there was a where I was in that moment. So I had to believe there was an after because there was a before. Not getting caught up in the space of this is where I am, so therefore this is where I always have to be. Okay, I'm gonna botch this phrase. It's something to the effect of don't build a house where you're supposed to pitch a tent. Basically understanding that there is change and you don't always you don't have to be fixed in where you are. So being in flow and being willing to be flexible. But yeah, it's like don't build a house where you're supposed to pitch a tent. Something to that effect. So understanding that there is another way. Find proof of where you've had that aligned feeling. Like I said earlier, we've all had that in the zone moment. We have all been in that happy place, feeling completely joyful in the vortex, tuned and tapped and turned on. Like we have all had that. That's your proof. That's your proof that you have experienced alignment, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, whether your body's saying that right now or not, you have experienced alignment, period. Whether that's the constant reality or not, completely beside the point. We know that it's possible because we've been there. So we need to get clear on what we're looking for. If it's, I don't want to be in pain, I want to not feel fatigued, I want to feel more energized, I want to, even saying I want more flow, like what does that even mean? I want more flexibility, I want more freedom, I want more peace. What are you going for specifically? And where have you felt that before? So for me, it's been, wanting to feel strong, wanting to feel balanced, wanting to feel healthy, which is, it's big, but wanting to feel healthy, wanting to feel, no, I can't even say aligned because that's negating my example here. But being specific, feeling free, feeling flexible, feeling empowered, in control, unstoppable, having the answers. Those are things that are more clear in how we want to feel. And once we get clear on what we're actually striving for, then we can find proof of where we've done it before to, again, trick the subconscious, trick the mind to say, you know what, I had that, I can get that back. I can do that again. Not fixating and understanding in the how just yet, but just entertaining the option of I've done it, I can do it again. And that was pivotal for me, because knowing I had, had the energy, I didn't have the fatigue, I had, the strength and the flow and the options and the control and no pills and like all that stuff. Like I knew that there was a time, there was a lot of time where that was not my reality. There was a pocket where that was the reality, and I'm now past that. 15 months, happy to say, 15 months, past that, where I can look back and say, okay, so I had the before, I had the, that phase, and then I'm in the after. So I'm clear on what I want to experience in my day-to-day, because I've seen that. I've seen the before. I've experienced the before. So I know that's possible. Again, going back to knowing what is possible and then tricking the brain, the subconscious, in saying, I've done that, I can do it again. And actually, so I've got these in a certain order. I'm going to switch them around. So speaking of tricking the brain, and reprogramming the subconscious. One thing that I think gets a bad rap, but is super duper effective if you like really get into it, is affirmations. So I say affirm your alignment. I think affirmations get a bad rap because a lot of people tend to say, I am a millionaire. Okay, where's my $1,000,000? And it's like, you can't get there from there. So I think people don't think affirmations work because they either strive really, really, really high, or they just say stuff to say stuff and they don't believe it. I know for me, I use affirmations. So I was heavy on the affirmation train when I first started with law of attraction. And there's different factions of law of attraction too. So that's an interesting one. But I was at the point where I wrote out, I had a journal. It was a page and a half of basically affirmations, like I am statements. So I am and I have statements. And I would read them, and I very, very consciously created this list. But I read it sometimes every morning and then every night before I went to bed. At one point, I had a morning list and then a nighttime list. But I would rotate when I would say these things, but I was saying at least like 20 or 30 affirmations at least once a day. I was not at the point where I had a relationship with my body, by the way, either. So some of them I believed, some of them I was using to create. So with affirmations, first and foremost, the power of that I am statement and the I have statement. That is creation in its purest form right there. And anything that comes after that, you're using your words, your language, your beliefs, all the emotion that you're putting behind it to create. The thing is, when you're saying these words, your subconscious doesn't know the difference. So it doesn't know if you have the thing or not. If you are aligned and you're saying, I am healthy, I am strong, I have ultimate alignment and flow in my body, I have all of the answers that I want and need to support my body, and my body supports me daily and tells me exactly what it needs, so I can, immediately get it what it needs. If you're saying that and you're like, okay, we're good, thank you body, my body has what it needs, I am confident, I am connected, if you're in that space, if you can get in that happy place, in that vortex, in that flow, and then you can get these I am statements and the I have statements and any other affirmations, that's where the power is. Because your subconscious does not know the difference between having it in your reality, like tangible, and not. All it knows is that you're very, very strongly believing in something that you say. Period. Complete Jedi mind tricks here. But the key, again, opening to that new perspective, believing that something else is possible, and then affirming that it actually is possible, whether you have it or not. And believing that it's possible and that you either have it or can have it, have more of it. That's key. So I say affirmations work. Again, I'm not going to be like, I'm a millionaire and, meditate my way to $1 million. Like some people can do that. I don't think that's going to happen, but hey, universe, make it happen if you want to. And there's action that takes place. So let's talk about action next. So one thing that I have not done, which I am going to do, is writing a letter to my body. So when I was going through this, I was like, wow, that is actually something that could be really powerful. is writing a letter to your body. And I actually did a version of this a couple years ago. It was more just some statements. It wasn't like a full-blown letter, but I'm big on the letters because I know I said this in our forgiveness talk, where if you don't feel comfortable or the person is not ready to receive it, write a letter to reconcile and forgive to a person, whether they are dead or alive, and don't send the letter, but just do it. So have all the honesty, how you feel, why you feel it, what's the impact, what you would like changed, see it from their perspective, get the understanding from their perspective, all those things. So why not write a letter to your body? Like, if we're giving our bodies permission to support us, if we want to create that alignment, that two-way flow of communication, why not ask to start a conversation via letter? And like I said, I actually did this in a post a couple years ago where I said, dear body, I just wanted you to know. And it was actually really powerful for me, but also for a lot of people, where kind of that raw emotion, the raw honesty came out, of I'm giving you a voice, but I'm acknowledging you. I'm apologizing to you. I'm looking for information. I want to know how to support you. I want to know how to get in communion with you. So let's open this up. So I say write a letter to your body as if it's a person. Can't hurt anything. Write that letter and say how you feel. Say how you feel, say how you want to feel. And if your body wants to support you, what would your body say? How would your body respond? You might have to get quiet before you do this. So maybe like 5 or 10 minutes of like meditation, or maybe go for a walk, or like exercise or move, like so you can get centered. But this is something that I personally am going to do. I have not done this yet, like fully in the way that I'm envisioning this, but I think it could be completely and totally transformational. I really do. So write it as if you're writing to a parent, to a friend, to someone you want to reconcile with. Ask your body for forgiveness. Ask your body for understanding. Ask your body for that line of communication. Ask your body what it needs. Tell your body how you feel. If you're judging your body, be honest. Say, body, I've been judging you because I don't understand, or I've been judging you because this is the only way that I know, only way I know to operate. Forgive yourself. Because if you don't know any better, you can't do better. You can't do anything different, right? If you don't have another perspective that is in your reality, then you do what you do. You do what you know. So write the letter to your body. Forgive yourself. But what can you do to shift? What does your body need? What can you do to cultivate that relationship with your body? Is it meditation? Is it eating better? Is it going for a walk? Is it, what is it? Is it gratitude? That is my next one. Choosing to see the good. Like I said, I say thank you, body. Good job, body. Thank you, body, and good job, body. Like all day, every day, constantly. When I'm having like a not so great day, thank you, body, because I know you're doing your best. If I'm trying to push myself, even though I shouldn't be, good job, body. You're holding up. You're doing more than you want to do, but you're listening, and I appreciate that. Good job, body. Thank you. Like a coach. I'm a huge NFL fan. Football, American football, and the coach's job is so involved. It's it's constant. It's like it's year round. Like the season is, X number of months, but it's a year round job. And you have to pour into the players. You have to pour into the other coaches. You have to cultivate relationships with so many different types of people. You have to develop plans. You have to, like, it's very involved. And it's a partnership. It's a relationship, but it's a partnership. What if we did that for our bodies? What if we coached our bodies up? The coach knows the player needs to perform, right? The coach knows I need to do whatever I can to give the player the tools and resources and create the environment so the player has what they need to perform. Because the player wants to perform. Like, the player loves the game. The player works out. They study film. They eat the right diet. Like, they seek out specialized training. Like, they do all these things so they can get really, really, really good and support the overall organization, to support the coach, because the coach wants to win, just like the player wants to win, just like all the organization wants to win. So I like to think of it kind of like coaching your body up. Thank you, body. Good job, body. Good job, body. And that positive reinforcement helps cultivate that relationship. I did it on my walk today. I was up late because I was not doing anything productive, but I was up late last night. And I went for this walk because I knew my body wanted to walk. So I said, you know what? We're going to walk. We're just going to see how this goes. I don't know how far we're going, but we're just going to walk. And I felt the fatigue. I felt the lethargy. And I said, you know what? Thank you, body. I know you're holding up. I know we're tired. You're doing a good job. And we're almost done. But thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So that is constant in my day. I choose to see the good now. It's not always easy. My default isn't always seeing the good. So this is still a work in progress. I'm still very much in progress. But I've come a long way because I can see fundamentally that my body wants to support me. So knowing that, I can more quickly get around to the place of not judgment, but compassion and understanding. And then solutioning, like problem solving, trying to figure out what's going on. When the answer is rest. Thank you, body. We get to have a couch day. Great. Or a couch, a couple of hours. Thank you, body, for telling me that food did not agree with you. Thank you, body, for saying that, for letting me know that movement didn't agree with you. Thank you for showing me that, the environment is not supportive, that I need to clean up. Choosing to see the good in everything in life can significantly improve things, even if it doesn't immediately improve. One thing that I do daily is journal. So in the morning, gratitude. And every day that I write, the first thing I say is I'm grateful for my body because it supports me. And it tells me exactly what it needs. Even if I don't get a clear message all the time, I say thank you because I know that that's what it's doing, it's trusting, and I have to tweak what I'm doing to figure it out. For some reason, we might not be on the same page if I don't get the message, but I say thank you and I'm grateful because I know my body supports me. And if it gains 4 pounds in a week, or if it, it's bloated or is in pain or something feels out of whack, then it's something that I did that was different, that my body is responding to, that I can then unwind and then solution. So, I mentioned energetic factors. My journey is grounded in energy work. Like, none of this would have happened had I not been exposed to energy work. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge just the number of possibilities with what can influence our bodies, our mindset, our subconscious, our physical experience. If I did mention kind of the energetic, unseen things that are possible as influences. Like I said, the self-worth wasn't there. The self-love wasn't there. The belief in self, kind of that. Like, if you dared me to do something, my ego would do it. Not because I, actually believed in myself, but it was ego. So my ego was big. All the self-worth and belief and stuff actually was not big. But aside from that kind of subconscious limiting beliefs, kind of that sphere, thinking about things like Akashic loops and Akashic records, so kind of past lives, future lives. How does that influence our relationship with our body? How does, well, no, I mean, that's the question. How does that, if at all, influence our relationship with our body? Energetic attachments. Like, is there something that we can't see, but we know something might be there that's not ours, that's influencing the flow that we're hoping to achieve? Cords, contracts, all these agreements that we get ourselves into, consciously or unconsciously, in, other lifetimes. That's a factor. You'd be just amazed and floored at some of the things that I've personally seen in myself, and then, in sessions with others, about body relationships and beliefs about self, and, vowing to not have flow in a lifetime because they don't deserve it. Well, okay, if you made that agreement in 1413 and it's 2022 now, is that really resonant? Like, do you really need that anymore? Likely not. Let's get rid of that so we can have some flow. Like, that's what we deal with sometimes. So there are so many factors that contribute to this outside of just the limiting beliefs or the environment or family that we grew up with. Like, are we carrying around our parents' beliefs about our bodies? Are we carrying around our beliefs, our families, or parents' beliefs about what is possible for our health? Do we believe those things? Like, real question here. Do we believe those things for ourselves? Is that aligned with our reality and what we want to achieve for our bodies and our health, and how we want to write our own experience? So thinking about the beliefs that we're carrying of others and how that could potentially impact our own physical reality. And if that aligns, cool. If not, there's your trigger. Am I carrying someone else's beliefs about my body and my health and what's possible? Could be. But it's worth exploration. So, those are all ways that, I know there's more, there's likely several more. Those are ways that I could think of to create alignment. And I also wanted to kind of cover, how do we make choices that promote our alignment? So like, once we have this alignment, like, we're doing these exercises, we're doing the gratitude journaling, we're writing the letter, like, we're creating this back and forth thing with our bodies. So how do we make choices that maintain that? Because it's like, okay, great, I'd like to get it, but I'd also like to maintain it most of the time. Maybe not all the time, but most of the time. So a few things that I do. First off, muscle testing. So one thing that I'm slightly embarrassed to say is, so I like I said earlier, I have a degree in kinesiology. And I actually wasn't introduced to the idea of muscle testing until it was maybe 2016 2017, those are two pivotal years, if you didn't know. I think all of us had some sort of awakening 2016, 2017. But I was actually introduced to muscle testing in like a corporate lunch and learn. So, of all places. And I don't even remember what the lady was like asking us to do, but um, the concept just blew my mind, fascinated me. And now that I'm kind of full on in energy work, I understand the way that muscle testing and kind of discernment can be used to help us make decisions in our lives. So literally everything from do we want the apple or the banana to, do I want to wear blue or green or, something else? Or, do we want to go for a walk? Do we want to stay on the couch? Like muscle testing and discernment literally rules my day, along with gratitude. So using muscle testing as a means to make decisions for our bodies and our health and our alignment. I can do a separate, I should do a separate thing on this, so I will. But really relying on our intuition and giving our body a voice, giving the body a voice to say, this is going to feel good, this is not going to feel good. This is going to make me happy, this is not going to make me happy. And paying attention. So if you automatically, this was me, if you automatically just go to the grocery store and buy apples every single week and just eat the apples because that's what you do, because apples are, healthy and they taste good, but your body doesn't actually want apples and you're not paying attention to the fact that your body is kind of doing a response thing to the apple, that matters. Like, that's your body talking. So using muscle testing, using discernment to ask your body, hey body, do we want an apple or do we want a banana? Pay attention to how your body feels. When you eat the apple, are you satiated? Do you feel full? Are you bloated? Do you have some other reaction? Or when you eat the banana, and this is just, for example's sake, when you eat the banana, do you feel satiated? Do you feel like you did something that your body wanted? Paying attention to your food choices is great for alignment. Body, do we want to go out or do we want to read the book? What would feel more in alignment? I'm tired. This is like your body's dialogue. Well, I'm tired, so let's read the book. Let's stay here. So creating that dialogue, but finding ways to ask questions, again, coming down to the good questions, ask questions to give your body the voice to start making more informed decisions. This game changer for me. Game changer. So muscle testing. Very, very, very important. Getting quiet. So I didn't realize how distracted I was and unable to make a decision for my body because I was so stressed, I was so busy, I was doing everything for everyone else. I couldn't make a good decision for myself. So I had to get quiet. I had to learn what I sounded like. I had to learn how my body reacted to certain things, how my body felt, like how I felt in my skin. And as someone who wasn't comfortable in their skin, that was huge. It was important. So getting quiet, whether it's a quiet walk or literally sitting in silence. So I like to set a timer and just sit in silence and see what comes up. I would recommend maybe trying 5 minutes, like literally sitting in silence and feeling your body. Okay, Are there any pains? Are there any aches? Are there any sensations? What is my body doing? I know that I've worked with a lot of people who like actually don't know what their body's doing. Like they aren't present in their bodies, and getting quiet, like literally sitting and kind of feeling your body and like just letting it do what it does and just tuning to that will help. Can help. I'm not going to guarantee can help. Moving your body though, that also helps as well. So again, dance is my default. I'm very present in my body when I dance. I know I said, moving to the music and losing yourself and, feeling the flow, like all that, but you have to also be present in your body when you're like moving like that. Hand-eye coordination is just like in rhythm and all those things, like lots of things at play. So you have to be aware of your muscles and your placement and your breathing and your balance, like all these things you're aware of. So you have to be present in your body and like focused. So that's kind of my go-to, but I know yoga is amazing for feeling present in your body because you have to hold the poses, you have to get the breath work going, you have to, keep your balance, all those things. So yoga, that's amazing for kind of that presence, getting aligned, seeing what your body's doing. I know things like Tai Chi and Qigong are amazing. Again, there's poses, there's flow, there's balance, there's breath work, there's focus. So having to stay in tune with your body and be present to what it's doing and how you're feeling through movement or with movement is super, super effective. Super duper effective. And then food, doubling down on your diet. So that was key for me. I noticed that once I started removing things from my diet, my body started to get clear. So dairy, meat, I stopped buying the apples just by default and like experimenting. So being more flexible in what I was feeding myself, being willing to try new things, whether it is removing something from my diet or adding something to my diet or more of something to my diet. So something different to supplement or complete addition. Diet had a big impact on whether I was able to feel what my body was doing, understand, because like I said, if it's your body wants an apple but you're eating bananas because you're on autopilot, then there's a disconnect, right? So being able to pay attention, that matters. I know, God, my entire life, like I love peanut butter. I love peanut butter. I would eat peanut butter every day, actually peanut butter and oatmeal every single day if I could. And I literally was eating peanut butter every day. Like I would find a reason to eat peanut butter. I'll never forget in college, the dining hall had closed. The dining hall had closed. And like I had some things in my room and I was so hungry. I don't know why it was so late and I was so hungry, but I just was. And I remember looking, because the only thing I had was like cereal and peanut butter, and I didn't have milk, so peanut butter was my default. And I remember being on the phone with my friend, like a couple of dorms over, and just being like, I'm so hungry. And I was eating peanut butter just with a plastic spoon out of the jar, just eating. And like that made me feel comfortable. That was my default. Like peanut butter, you can't go wrong. Come to find out, my body actually did not want all that peanut butter. I didn't realize that until like a year ago, that my body was having some inflammatory response, not allergic response. Like I can eat peanuts and peanut butter and all, and nuts and stuff, but my body actually did not want the peanut butter, not as much as I was eating. So, and the oatmeal. So like, it's probably 20 degrees outside now. But wintertime, by default, like clockwork, I would just have oatmeal for breakfast every morning. wouldn't even think about it because I like oatmeal and I equated cold weather with oatmeal for breakfast. And my mom would cook oatmeal because I love oatmeal. So I didn't realize my body didn't want the oatmeal. So I started trying new things for breakfast and I realized the inflammation started going down. My body was responding. I was losing weight. I wasn't as puffy. But I stopped operating off of autopilot. So, doubling down on the diet. And dairy. I mentioned dairy. I eat dairy, but I don't like drink cow's milk or cheese. I don't intentionally like consume dairy. If I like happen to have some ice cream or eat some whatever with dairy in it, minus the cheese, then I'm fine. It's a conscious choice. But I realized that several things improved when I consciously cut out the dairy. So being willing to make those shifts was pivotal. Pivotal for me. 2, create the alignment that I was looking for with my body. So, I know this is a lot. I've got the blog post up. I'll share that with kind of all of this, information in a succinct place. There's also like some prompts and things that I've already got going that will come out, so we can kind of talk a little bit more about alignment, what it means, how to get it, trials and tribulations with like some of these exercises and things. I'd love to hear if any of this works for you. Busy as a distraction. Yes. I am very good at being busy. I think Americans are really good at being busy. As a society, we've gotten busy for whatever reason, and we distract ourselves. And I believe that contributes to our lack of connection with our bodies because we're so busy doing all the things where we're focused on that and not focused on what's going on in here, right? So yeah, I can totally identify with that. The same as being mindful of the spirit, body, and mind. Kind of. I think it's creating the alignment means having all of that actually like talking to one another, mind, body, and spirit, like being able to have the mind talk to the body, talk to the spirit. Everyone's firing on the same, or like reading from the same sheet of music, and we're able to kind of read and interpret all of that information so we can do something with it. I think it's getting to the place where we can read and interpret that information. I don't think that that connection comes automatically. In my experience, there needs to be a little work done. Most often, yeah, there is work that can be done to help that alignment, which creates that connection and that flow more with the mind, body, and the spirit. So all of those things are operating as one. So that's just my perspective. Apples and peanut butter. Yeah, give me, peanut butter and apples, peanut butter and chocolate, peanut butter and just bread and honey, like all day, every day. Peanut butter and celery, so like the ants on a log. So the peanut butter, the celery, and the raisins. Like, I know I'm not in preschool anymore, but yeah, I did it. I brought that to work as a snack with pride. So don't judge me. But yeah, paying attention to these things, because we get into habits. We go on autopilot. We create the grocery store list because we're not thinking about anything. We just need to go to the store and get it done. But yeah, once we pull ourselves back and get out of the fray, get out of the distracted state, that helps. It helps. Oh yeah, green apple. Yeah, those Granny Smith apples. Like that juxtaposition between like the kind of sweetness with the peanut butter and then the sour kind of sweet with those Granny Smith apples. Yep, I know that combination well. And the Fuji apples. But the Fuji apples are like sweet on top of kind of the sweetness with the peanut butter. So, anyway, I can talk peanut butter for a long time. Not the point of this conversation. So, like I said, I've got some things coming. The blog is up. I will share that. We'll get some prompts. I'll get some other things going. I hope this was helpful. You can let me know if this is helpful, if there was anything that I said that just sounds completely crazy and you're just like, I don't understand why you would say that. Or if you have other examples. If you're, completely on fire with your body alignment, what was your journey? How did that happen? Because I'm still learning. Like I do not have this down. I've come a long way, but like I said, it is still a day by day thing. So I'm very interested in other experiences and examples and tools to create this alignment that we're looking for. Again, like I said in the beginning, I think ultimately this is what we're striving for: alignment. That freedom, that flow, that joy, that feeling of just having it together, having things work, having things connect, and it's possible, it's achievable. It is. We've all seen it and experienced it. So having that for our bodies and having it more consistently is possible. I very firmly believe that it is possible, and got to figure out how to do it more consistently and in